Welcome to the Sim Podcast Show. I'm your co-host, Eric, and I'm always joined by my co-host, Ron. What up, Ron?
What's going on?
You know what we do? We talk about the National Football League on a weekly basis, including the playoffs. Ron, this is episode 129. We are going into week number 3. Our teams are jousting for this week. How do you feel? I know it was a week just coming up a week loss. A team who, let's just say this, Ron, at the beginning, when we did the roster review, I had you guys losing, but then I saw Aaron Rodgers step into the time machine. But how do you feel? Like, what's going on? What's going through your head right now?
Listen, I'm okay with this loss. We had a number of injuries. We'll talk more in detail when we talk about our teams, but we're not in a bad position. It's still early. It's week 3 that we're moving to right now, like you said. So not a big deal at all. I'm not overly concerned at all.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So what's on the docket today? We got the NFL news. We got our previous games review. We also have our power rankings, and then we have our game predictions, followed by our teams, and then always ended on an upset special. So Ron, I want to kick this off with all the QB injuries that are piling up. Got Burrows, got Purdy, got Daniels, got Fields. This might be the week for the backup week. What do you think is going on? Because some of these quarterbacks played in the preseason. So what's going on? What do you think all these injuries are happening?
Yeah, I can't explain why. I think it's just the nature of, the game. The team that you have at the end of the season is always different than what you start out with. Injuries are just commonplace. You hope it doesn't happen to, the quarterback position, but here we are. That's why it's important for teams to make sure they put stock in, who their number 2 is, because at some point it's almost like a guarantee, right? It's becoming a guarantee that your number 2 is going to play at some point in the season. So you got to be prepared. Some teams, I think, take it more serious than others. But I think the backup QB role is just one of the most important roles to have on the team.
So, I mentioned Burrows and Purdy and Daniels and Fields. Which of these teams is going to be hurting the most, do you think?
Well, I would say the obvious answer is Burrow because of the length of time that he'll be out, right? Fields is dealing with a concussion. He most likely will be back. I know he's not playing this week. He's already been ruled out, but he'll be back probably in a couple weeks. I don't know the extent of Daniel's injury. If something that he'll have to just kind of play through or what. And then, same for Purdy. He'll eventually be back in a couple weeks. So I think Burrow, even though the backup, and it's slipping my mind who the backup is, but he's had experience having to play, basically an entire season before. I think he'll step in. He just won't be able to do quite a good job as Burrow. He's not Burrow, right? So, but that's the biggest loss. I think I had Cincinnati. I told you winning that division before the start of the season. That
some jeopardy.
Yeah, that's gonna obviously not happen now.
Yeah, I mean, Burrows is probably number 1 for me, followed by Daniels. I don't know how many weeks he's gonna be out, but really without him, I don't know if Washington is as powerful as it's supposed to be. Purdy, I know Mac Jones is there, and there's rumblings now that Purdy might play against Arizona. But Fields has a concussion. I don't know if the Jets weren't really. I think he's replaceable. I don't know who the backup is in the Jets, but
it's Tyrod Taylor. He's the one who's drawing the start this week.
Yeah, so I don't know how much is going to affect it.
Right. If it's one game, not necessarily a big deal. But if it goes beyond that, that's when, with all these teams, you're like, what's going to happen?
And the Jets, they're 0-2. Is Washington's not 0-2, right?
No, I think they're 1-1.
Right.
So they're in a good place. Cincinnati's in a great place at 2-0 right now, right?
Yeah, Cincinnati has. I mean, I don't know if everything is gonna go downhill from now, but they're in a good spot. Even if they go 500 for the rest of they say that he might miss the whole season now or 5 weeks.
No, it's you're looking at 3 months. So sometime in December, he might be able to come back. So it's not necessarily season ending, but you're talking about like the back end of the season, week 16, 17, 18 at that point. So, yeah, it's a good chunk of the season that he's going to be missing.
Yeah, I don't know if they can go 500 for that long of time. The other set of news, and we talked about it briefly at the 2 or 3 weeks ago before the season started. Brady Gate has come up again, and when we brought this up, it was kind of put under the rug, but now it's like emerging again. So, is he breaking the rules? Yes or no?
No, he's not. Not at all. I think they've adjusted the rules because it's a unique situation that he's in. And they've adjusted the rules because they know he, is going to be in the box, right? And, he's obviously assisting the coaches with putting together game plans and stuff like that. And if he's going to have that type of role and responsibility for his team, he can't have a competitive advantage by seeing what's going on in the other locker room. So I think they've adjusted what they've had to do. It's different. It's a unique situation because it's never happened. But I don't think it's a big deal. I think the media is just making it more than what it really is. Is out to be.
Yeah, I think the media wants something to happen, and definitely they want some owners to speak up. But really, I think the NFL has at least a little bit of barriers there that they can't cross, but we'll see how it plays out. Because I think people are gonna keep digging, and if Pablo podcast finds out, something's up. The other thing that I put on the news here is a tush push, because I feel like some teams are copying Philadelphia, right? Because I feel like this Sunday, a lot of teams went for it on 4th and 1, and they used that tactic. They used a tush push. So, is it good for football or is it bad for football?
I think it's bad when, if you watch the Philly game, I think it was used 7 times or something crazy like that in one game. If that's what's happening and it's being called multiple times, then, and they're having success every time, then you're talking about, something that's probably not only not safe, but just not a competitive advantage, basically. Right. So I don't know. I think it's for fans to see that happen 7 times in the game. It's too much. I think it was close, right? I think it fell short by 2 votes from being banned. I think if it comes up again, which I'm sure it will at the end of the season, it's going to be banned next year.
It's weird because it was banned before and they brought it back. And now, obviously, Philadelphia is using it to their advantage.
But it wasn't really banned. The tush push itself wasn't really banned. I think there's rules in place that's just not being used, right? As far as, using another player to get further up the line of scrimmage. There's some rules in place, but it's not being applied when it comes to the tush push. So,
well, if you can't use leverage on a kickoff and a field goal from the defensive side, why are you allowed to use leverage on the offensive side? So that's what I mean. It's if you're going to ban it, or if you're going to enforce the rules, enforce the rules. I feel like the refs are all over the place when it comes to that stuff. And
it's not really the refs. The owners need to decide, are we putting this in the rule book? And if so, then it's that we all agree, and then we're moving on. Or enough people agree, and they brought it up to a vote. Not enough people got it, so we can't, they can't sit there and complain about the tush push at this point. They just got to live with it until it comes up again.
Yeah, but I mean, you either ban it or don't, which is what happened. But like you putting limits on like, oh yeah, you can only use it 4 times a game.
Yeah.
It's not gonna
That's
work.
not gonna work.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. Let's move on to last week. And Ron, I won the week 13-10. For the season total is 24 to you, 21 to me. Ron, I'll let you have the first week, but it's over now. And
is that what it is?
Yeah, you just, now you know how they have the market correction? I already did that. I did the market correction. It's okay.
Listen, man, some of these games, there's no way. Like, I should have came out the victor, but some of these teams just kind of like blew it at the end.
Well, you know what? I definitely got lucky with the Denver Indianapolis game, but all the other teams is just Houston blew it through at the end, as we saw Monday night. But let's talk about our teams and how they performed week number 2. Patriots finally got a win. I'm very happy for Drake May.
It was looking scary for a minute, though, right?
Well, it's because the defense is not there yet, and they struggled against fast teams. Miami is probably one of the fastest teams out there, and Gonzalez wasn't there, so you saw the ripple effect of not having him there. Every time you blitz and you go man, there's really nobody else that can cover Tyreek Hill. So even though Tua was really bad in that game. But overall, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to beat up on bad teams. And Miami, it's a bad team. I'm mostly shocked because it took 6 years for them to get a victory in Miami, which I initially thought that they weren't because they're so historically so bad. But since Miami's the worst team right now, I think they're the worst team. And I was thinking like, well, maybe Carolina, no. Maybe the Saints, no. I think you have to give it to Miami.
Yeah, the most dysfunction. They have a lot of talent. It's just about, dysfunction, lack of coaching, lack of holding people, lack of accountability on the team. So,
yeah, they're a bad team.
Right.
Everything that you said equals bad team. I don't care if you have a great roster, but if you don't have the coaching, look at what happened to the Patriots last year. They didn't have the coaching and it all went downhill.
What do you think of Drake May's performance?
Oh, it was great. Didn't turn the ball over. I think they ran a lot against Miami and it paid off. As long as you don't rely on Drake May to do everything, I think you're going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. They do need... I was shocked that Pop Douglas didn't get as much play, but he's a little guy. And I'm also surprised that Chisholm did not play. He was a scratch. No injuries, no nothing. He just not... I don't know what's going on. Like, why have a roster spot for him and he's not even going to play him? It's kind of strange. I don't know. Maybe he's not grasping the playbook, but I don't know. It's weird. Let's talk about...
It sounds like I know last week you were talking about...
What?
You were saying a lot that Drake May wasn't ready. He's not ready. That was like some of the first things I heard you saying. Are you feeling more confident now, that he can be, the guy for your franchise?
I don't know if he's a franchise quarterback yet because we got to see how he does against good teams. Because look at JJ McCarthy. He had one good quarter and then a bad game against the Falcons. So let me see him be good against good teams. Not good against bad teams, because that's why he got drafted so high. But I want to see him do good against good teams. So your Steelers, I actually watched the game for the Steelers Monday, and what happened to the defense? Tell me.
Yeah, so they didn't play well, and I'm not going to make excuses for them, but one thing I will say that's kind of a bright spot is they went into the game, I think, with 4 starters out on defense. or 3 starters out on defense, and they lost like 4 guys. Couple of guys out, being placed on IR, so they'll miss the next 4 weeks. You had
there were a lot of rookies playing.
Yeah, a lot of rookies playing. Brand new guys that weren't rookies. Jabril Peppers just joined the team this week. He had to play. He had to, get some playing time. So there's a lot of miscommunication out on defense. A lot of sloppy plays. But what was disappointing, it was just a lot of physicality. That's the piece that was missing. There was guys running wide open because of poor communication. There was terrible tackling. I thought Seattle came out aggressive, and they just dominated the trenches, both sides, offensive line and defensive line. And some of that was health. A lot of it is scheme, though. A lot of it's coaching. So it's like a mixed bag. I'm not overly concerned, but 2 games at this point, 2 games in a row, I think people should start to be concerned with the defense just getting gashed left and right, especially in the run game. And if you go back to like last year, you're talking, 5-6 weeks in a row now where the defense has played poorly. And this is coming off an off season where Tomlin is quoted as saying this defense is going to make, do historic things and be one of the historically great defenses out there. He put that out there, try to backtrack later on. But, you put that stuff out there and then you go out and give up 30 points 2 games in a row. That makes you look terrible, especially since we know you're the one who are responsible for, the defense, right? You might have Terrell Austin out there calling the defense, but that's what you own. You own it, right? So, not a good look at all. Now, offensively, I didn't think they played too poorly. I thought Rodgers did well. He had better protection, I can say, I think this week than last week, but still under a little bit too much pressure. I think they ran the ball a little bit better. The interceptions he threw, one was in the end zone, should not have happened at all. I don't think it was his fault. I think the receiver just, didn't do what he was supposed to, basically, and took a pass that should have went to Freiermuth away. So I think, one of the scores too, I think Seattle had was the muffed kickoff, and that was 7 points right there, right? The rookie returning the kick. Again, that's a coaching decision, right? As a coach, you put him back there. He needs to understand what the rules are. Obviously, he wasn't ready, for that. And that's 7 points right there that we gave up. So, but, I think next week we'll bounce back this week here against the Patriots. I think the offense will continue to get better. And then defense is where I'm really worried. We'll see who steps up this week because, again, there's going to be a lot of players out, like I said, on defense again this week.
Yeah, I mean, DK Metcalf, he had a couple of drop
passes. Yep.
Only 3.
And he doesn't have the
3
best
receptions, though.
Yeah.
Are you still sticking to that 90 reception for the year? Or you want to reset?
I probably want to see one more game. I did feel like they did not do enough to get him involved in the offense this week. I thought, especially that first half, there was going to be a lot of balls thrown his way, with him going against his former team. It just didn't happen. I think some of it was just Rodgers just not having time in certain cases. Just things it's not working out, not executing. So to answer your question, it's going to be a long shot for him to get to 90 if this keeps up. But, if we can get him some time, him being Rodgers, in the pocket, maybe he can do things they can figure out how to get the ball in his hands a little bit more often.
So you think that this is basically Arthur Smith problem, where there's not really like designing plays for DK Metcalf? Because I saw a couple of times where he had like a screen pass, but I don't, it didn't go anywhere. And then you just need to get the ball to DK Metcalf, whether it's a pass or a reverse.
They were doubling him, right, this game, which I get. So there's not a lot he can do downfield. And if teams take him away, then, you have to go elsewhere. But you still got to figure out how to get the ball in your best player's hands. And I think when they try to do that, he had a couple drops, like you said. So they just going to have to figure it out, right? Run some more slants, do some more screens, whatever you need to do. Give him the ball in a reverse if that's what it takes, right? Let him get a reverse and run. There has to be some creativity in order to get him the ball. Now, the other guys, too, they got to step up. Rodgers had a great throw to Freiermuth. That would have been huge, and he dropped the ball. So there's a number of drops this game that could have helped us, but that's the difference every week. That's why teams win. Some teams win, some teams lose. Just like one or two mistakes that you make, and then all of a sudden it's a loss. So that's what happened to us last week. Let's hope they don't repeat it again this week.
Now I'm going to play devil's advocate. Let's say it's 17 points enough to beat the Patriots.
No, not with this defense, with us being down possibly five or six guys from the defense. No, I think there's a lot of questions on our defense. I think the Patriots are going to have some success. I do think we can force Drake May into making some mistakes, and we'll talk more about our predictions for this week. And like I said, I think Seattle is a strong team. I had them in the playoffs. I still think they'll make the playoffs. They're very stout up front on both sides of the ball. I think their receivers are much better than people realize. I think they have three of the better receiving group in the league. They have really good running backs. That's not what you're going to see here with the Patriots, right? I think there's some good, don't get me wrong. But, I think it's going to be, I'd be disappointed and shocked if we're dominated the way Seattle, I think, in the trenches dominated the Steelers.
Yeah, we'll talk about when our teams, when we do our predictions. Ron, who is your power rankings for this week 3?
All right, so I did some shake up here and there, not too much change, but I did move Minnesota out of my top 10 and moved the Colts in. So I got Philly at number 1, Buffalo at number 2, Green Bay at number 3. All of those are the same from last week. I moved Baltimore up to number 4, Tampa with their win up to number 5. Detroit I have at 6. The Chargers I have at 7. The Colts, I mentioned I moved them in. I have them at number 8. I think it was an impressive win at Denver. I know they played at home, but beating Denver was a great game. I think Washington I have at number 9, and Denver I didn't put out of the top 10. I have them right at number 10.
Yeah, I still like Green Bay as number 1, so I have them as 1. Buffalo's 2, Philly at 3 because they didn't really impress me against Kansas City. I thought they were gonna blow them out like did the Super Bowl, but that didn't happen. I got the Chargers at number 4, Tampa Bay at 5, Baltimore at 6. I have Detroit at number 7. I have Denver at number 8. Indy, I got a 9 because I don't know what's going on with Daniels. And then this was I was struggling with this one because I wanted to put somebody from the NFC West. And I was like, oh, do I do Seattle? Do I do San Francisco? Do I do Arizona? But I went with San Francisco only because Purdy might come back. Even though Mac Jones did what you're supposed to do as a backup and just win the game. He did just enough. So I got San Francisco at 10, but that was, a shaky number 10. But that's what I got for a power ranking.
Yeah, I had to. I've seen a lot of people with their rankings this week, and I think it's a head scratcher to me. But you're doing the same thing. You have Denver over Indianapolis, and they just played, and Indianapolis won. Now, I know that's not like in a neutral field and Indy had like home court and stuff, but we just saw the Colts beat Denver. Do we not think they're a better team than Denver?
No, because that win was totally on the refs. Totally on the refs. If the refs didn't say, "Oh no, by the way, that was an illegal play by the defense. Let's do it again." Denver wins that game if it wasn't for one play. Like you mentioned.
Are you not impressed though by how good the entire Colt offense has been? You know, with Daniel Jones at the helm, with, you know, Taylor doing his thing in the backfield, 165 yards rushing against what's supposed to be a really good defense.
No, yes, but at the same time, that's a weak division. That's a weak division. So let me see. I don't know what the schedules look like for the Colts, but let me see continue beating good teams. Let me see, because I don't know if this thing, Daniel Jones, if this thing is he going to be great the whole year, or is it just, you know, because we're talking about September and he's just coming out the gate on fire. So I want to see
your
more.
Offensive leaders so far, passing leaders, Russell Wilson and Daniel Jones, 1 and 2. That is surprising, right?
Well, one is in 0-2 team and the other one is in 2-0 team. Mm-hmm. And both of them could have been 1-1 if it wasn't for the, you know, overtime with Dallas. And to me, that's fine. You do great on offense. That's good. I want to see the defense do better. Mm-hmm. That determines whether or not your team is complete. So I still think Denver has a complete team. I still think Denver has, you know, the defense and the offense, even though the defense hasn't shown up. At least week 2, they didn't show up. So yeah, let me see more. Okay. Let me just quickly look at the schedule for the Colts, because I don't want to say that they have an easy schedule, but
it was easy when I looked at it. It's pretty.
Let's see. So they have the Titans next. Then they have the Rams, which, you know, it's a toss-up. Mm-hmm. The Raiders, not there yet. Cardinals, again, it's kind of a toss-up. Chargers, they might, you know, that's a real competitive game.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Then they have the Titans again. So yeah, it's pretty easy schedule. That's what I mean. It's not a division that you go, whoa, they got a lot of tough games.
Remember at the beginning of this season, I said I would not be shocked if Texans don't win that division. I put them down to win, but I was not comfortable with it. I did think the other teams were catching up. I did think it would be the Jaguars, to be the one to catch Houston. But I'm not surprised that the Colts are playing well. I think Daniel Jones fits that system. I thought the way they looked last year, at the end of last season, they looked better. And this preseason, they looked fantastic. So, and that's obviously translated to the regular season here. So hopefully we'll see. Hopefully they can keep it up. It's a long season. The two teams, well, Denver is a good team. I think we all think they're a good team. So they got that win under their belt. We'll see how the rest of the season goes.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I didn't know. I also had Houston, but that's because it was kind of like a late decision to take out Richardson for Jones. Mm-hmm. So I didn't think that it was, you know, I was like, why did he wait so long to make a decision? But now we know that he picked a better quarterback. So yeah, let's see how it pans out. I don't want to say, but I guess he's the odds-on favorite to win comeback player of the year. So we'll see how that goes. So let's go into our game predictions, and let's start with Thursday night game. And we talk about bad teams. Miami Dolphins at Buffalo Bills. This is the highest point spread of the week, 11.5. 49.5 is the over and under. Ron, what's your prediction?
Yeah, I got Buffalo winning this season. I think it goes over that 11.5 spread as well.
Do you think McDaniels will get fired after this game?
After the game, no. At some point this season, I can see it. After the season, for sure, definitely.
If I'm going with Buffalo too, but if they get embarrassed, if they get really embarrassed by Buffalo, because we don't know if that defense, it's awesome. I mean, it was the Jets last week, and they're primarily a running game, a running team. But if they get embarrassed, I think McDaniels gets fired, because after this week, you basically have 10 days to get ready for the next game. That's obviously that's not enough for the next coach, but I see Dan Le Batard's show every morning, and he's complaining nonstop about Miami, how it's so identical to Dave Weinstein and all that stuff. I'm like, he's bringing back things that happened in the early 2000s. So if he's the voice of the city of Miami, he's not going to last long. I don't think they make a change, especially, if the Jets are 0-2, Pats are 1-1. I don't see it. I don't see them finishing last because of McDaniels. I just don't see it. So that's my prediction, that if they get embarrassed on Thursday, this is not going to be good for Mike. The next game, Green Bay Packers at Cleveland Browns. This is a 7.5 point spread for Green Bay. 42.5 is the over and under. Ron, what's your prediction?
Yeah, I'm going with Green Bay here. I think they're going to win this one pretty easily as well.
Yeah, this is Green Bay. I mean, I said to you guys that this team is probably next to Philadelphia, probably number one team in the NFC. Number two, I would probably say Tampa, maybe. What would be number two? Because Green Bay is 1A and Philly is 1B. What would be number two?
I don't know if we know yet. I think we got to give a lot of credit to Tampa and what they've been able to do so far this season. I mean, Baker Mayfield is a dog, without a doubt. It's time to talk about him as being an elite quarterback. I don't think he ever gets talked that way. I know we both have him in the top 10, I believe. But, to answer your question, it's a little bit early now. But I would imagine Tampa is definitely in the top 4, teams in the NFC at this point.
I mean, who do your other top 5 NFC teams?
I mean, I want to see more from the Commanders, right? I want to see Daniels healthy, and if he can regain his form like he was last year. Detroit, I'm not, counting them out yet. I think some people have, but they're 1-1. They played really well this past week. If they can get back to form, you're talking again about a team that, can how many games they won last year? Like 14 or something like that?
14,
right?
15, something crazy.
So, I know Tampa almost beat them in the playoffs, but almost isn't beating them. So, I think there's more that we got to see from all of these teams as the season goes on.
The next game, Ron, Colts at Titans. 3.5 for the Colts. I don't know why it's so. Thought it'd be higher. 43.5 is a point spread. Who'd you go with?
Yeah, I'm going with the Colts here. For them to go 3-0 at this point, right? I think. Listen, there's a lot that is missing from the Titans team. They got a long ways to go. It'll be a struggle for them to get 4 wins this season. So give me the Colts to handle this one pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that Cam Ward is struggling. But he shows potential. Some, broken plays where he's pretty good, but I don't think he grabbed the NFL yet. The Bengals at the Vikings. Vikings are favored by 2.5. 42.5 is the over-under. Ron, who'd you go with?
Yeah, this is a battle of backup quarterbacks most likely playing here. I think it's tough to ask Browning, even though he has a lot of experience, to go and play in Minnesota. You saw how difficult it was for Atlanta, even though Atlanta won the game. They ran the ball. All they did was run most of the game, and I just can't see Cincinnati going there and winning. So give me Minnesota to bounce back and pull this one off.
I think Kevin O'Connell is a better coach than Zach. So give me Minnesota to win this game, even though it's, like we just said, the battle of the backups. The next game, the LA Rams at Philadelphia Eagles. This is a playoff rematch. Eagles are favored by 3.5. 43.5 is the over and under. Ron, who'd you pick?
I'm going to go with Philly. I don't, listen, I think they played Kansas City and beat them. You mentioned it at the top of the show that they didn't really play that well. And they kept, Kansas City kept the game close, but I think they're a much better team than they showed last week. And I think they'll remind the country here just how good they are.
Yeah, I went with Philly because I think at home they're a pretty darn good team at home. And the Rams, they definitely not gonna have McVay on the bench because he just got hurt, tore his foot plantar-citis, which is very painful, by the way. I've had that before, not a torn plantar-citis, but before I've had it. New York Jets at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We just finished talking about Tampa. 6.5 is the point spread. 45.5 is the over and under. Ron, who'd you go with?
Yeah, give me Tampa. As long as they're healthy, and I know Baker took some shots, but I'm guessing he's playing. I think they're going to win this game. They got an amazing group of running backs. Both running backs look good. The receivers look really good. They just got a really good team. There's question marks on the defense for sure. But I got Tampa winning this one.
Yeah, I got Tampa winning this one. Without Fields, I don't really trust the Jets. I know they have a good roster, but the Bucs, don't wait till the last second to win this game. I don't know why they don't get going right away, or they don't make adjustments, in-game adjustments right away. Because you have the QB, you have the personnel. I want to see more of them do the adjustments in game. So, but give me Tampa Bay to win this one. The next game, Raiders at Commanders. Commanders are favored by 3.5. 44.5 is the over and under. Ron, what's your prediction?
Yeah, I'm going with the Commanders. I know, again, they haven't really played that well so far this season, but I saw how bad the Raiders played last week on Monday. So, short turnaround time for the Raiders. Give me the Commanders to win this one.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this one, but with no Jaden Daniels there, I'm going to go with the Raiders. I know that
he's most likely going to play, right?
I don't know if he's going to play it. I know he had a knee issue, but I don't know if he's playing. Raiders put up 9 points last week, but that was against the Chargers. I don't think that they're going to do that again. This might be a close game, but I like the Raiders to win this one.
Yeah, it looks like he's day-to-day at this point.
Yeah. If you're not a participant by Wednesday when the injury report comes out, it's highly, highly doubtful you're going to play. Unless, they do the switcheroo and, oh, by the way, he's playing. The next game is the Falcons at Panthers. Atlanta's favored by 5.5. 43.5 is the point spread. Ron, what's your prediction?
Going with Atlanta here. I think they'll do just enough on offense. Running the ball. I think Penix will be okay. I think it's more about Carolina, how poor they've played and how awful they've looked. Atlanta's just a far better team, I think. So give me Atlanta to win this one.
Yeah, Bryce Young, people were on him like, oh, he's actually a pretty good player. Is he really?
Yeah, I don't think we know. I think he played well at the end of last season. But so far this season, he's, it's back to those same questions about, can this guy really be our franchise quarterback?
Yeah, I think those questions, I know that he's on his second or third offensive coordinator. I got Atlanta to win this one. Bryce Young, he's about to be off my radar pretty soon. The next game is Texans at Jaguars. The Jaguars are favored by 1.5. 44.5 is a point spread. Ron, what's your prediction?
Yeah, it's a tough one here, but I'm going to go with Jacksonville. I know they just, they lost to the Bengals. I had them winning against the Bengals. They couldn't pull it out. But I still think they're a better team than Houston is. So give me Jacksonville to win this one.
Are you going to place a bet on Hunter again? 47.5.
Absolutely not.
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. And the thing is, what's crazy is it like the over-unders for yards for him has been like 45, 46. In the first game, I think he had 7 catches or something like that. And he still couldn't get 45 yards. It's insane. It's not like they're not giving him the ball. It's just like dump offs, basically. It's like, can you have a little bit of creativity in your offense? Use this guy downfield, throw him some deep passes every now and then. They have no idea. I don't know if they know what they're doing on offense.
They gave up so many draft picks to get him, and he's been a disappointment so far. I'm going with Houston. I know they're 0-2. I know they don't have a running game. I don't know what's going on with their offensive line. There's a lot of questions. Is this team really just going to mail it in? This is a division game, so it's going to be tough. But give me Houston here, and I know I'm almost losing faith in Houston if they don't, start winning games. Basically, I'm giving them a chance, and then I'm just gonna, I don't want to write them off because it's only week number 3, but geez, get it together. The next game, you got the Broncos at Chargers. Chargers are favored by 2.5.
This one's your upset special, I think, right?
Oh yeah, so we'll leave it to the end. Let's go to the Saints. The Saints at the Seahawks. Seahawks are favored by 7.5. 41.5 is the under. Ron, what's your prediction?
I got Seattle winning this one easily. This is a game I probably would put money on for Seattle to even go higher than 7.5 and take the over here. I think, like I said, the way they played this past week just dominated the trenches. But Darnell played well. I think they're a much better team than the Saints.
Yeah, I got Seattle winning this one, and you're right. This should be an easy win. You got the crowd, the 12th man there, and the Saints. They don't know what they're doing. Maybe a year or two they will, but they still don't know what they're doing. The next game, the Cowboys at the Bears. The Bears are actually favored by 1.5. Wow. 50.5 is the over-under. Ron, what's your prediction?
Yeah, give me the Cowboys. Listen, they can score points, right? They've been doing that. So I think they'll outscore Chicago here and win this one.
Yeah, I think I also went with Dallas, and I think that the point spread might be over. I think I'd see both teams maybe in the high 20s. Definitely more than 25 for each. So give me Dallas, and I'll take the over in the point spread. Next game we have is Cardinals at the Niners. Niners are favored by 1.5. 44.5 is the under. Ron, what's your prediction?
I'm taking Arizona. I don't know who the backup is for San Fran that's playing, but give me the Cardinals to win this one.
The backup is Mac Jones.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And he won against the Saints. Now, our Cardinals are not the Saints, but they're, we talk about Colts having an impressive 2-0 team. Arizona doesn't have an impressive 2-0 team.
It's true.
But you can say the same about San Francisco. These are two teams that they're 2-0, but they're not an impressive 2-0. But I went with San Francisco just because there's might be a slim chance that Purdy might play. So give me San Francisco to win this one. This is a Sunday night game. The Chiefs, who have lost 4 in a row.
This is my upset special.
Okay, so we'll skip that one, and let's go to a Monday night game. Lions are Ravens. Ravens are favored by 4.5. 51.5 is a point spread. Ron, who'd you go with?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised at, not that the Ravens are favored, but that spread seems a little bit high to me. Listen, I don't think Detroit's all the way there yet. I know they put up 50-something points this past week. I think they're going to remind teams just how good they are, and I got them winning this one. This could have been my upset special, but I got Detroit coming in to Baltimore and winning.
Detroit, they put 52 points, was it? Against the Bears, who are the worst defense in the league right now through 2 weeks. I think they were embarrassed week 1 by Green Bay, and it was just a revenge game. I have Baltimore winning this one. I don't know if it's going to reach 51.5. Depends what kind of defense shows up for Baltimore, but I have Baltimore winning this game. I think that with Cincy down Burrows right now, this is Baltimore's chance to just take the lead. So give me Baltimore to win this one. Let's go to our team. They're facing each other this week. The spread is Pittsburgh by 1.5.
You want to do our upset special first, or you want to talk about our teams?
No, let's talk about our teams. Let's get it over with. 44.5 is a point spread. Ron, what's your prediction?
Yeah, this game could go either way at this point. I mentioned how many people are down on the defense for Pittsburgh. On the Patriots side, you got Gonzalez back at practice. I assume he might be ready to go this week. And if that's the case, then that's bad news for Metcalf, because I think Gonzalez is just an outstanding player. I still do have Pittsburgh winning. I got 23-20 as the final score. I still think Pittsburgh, their defense will do enough to cause a few turnovers this game. And, I think offensively, like I said, I've seen some better things this past week from them. And I think they're heading in the right direction, at least with the running game, a little bit with the pass protection. So give me Pittsburgh to win in the nail biter, though, 23-20.
Yeah, I got Pittsburgh winning 20-17. I know Gonzo, even if he's in practice this week, I don't think they're going to throw him to the fire right away. He might play, but it'll be like a couple of snaps there, here and there. But I don't know. This is a home game. I don't think they're gonna repeat what happened in week 1, but also I don't think they're gonna repeat what happened against Miami. I just think that Patriots are still in the middle of the road, and Pittsburgh is slightly better, not by much, but slightly better. Although I am encouraged by the amount of sacks that New England has. They're leading the league right now with the amount of sacks. So the pressure is there. They just don't have the secondary to back it up. Not yet, anyways. So give me the Pittsburgh Steelers to win it out. And again, this is going to be a close game. Very close game. But I think Pittsburgh is slightly better offensively wise. Not defensive, because right now, you're like third worst team.
Yeah.
So let me see what happens. I think that 20 points or more for Pittsburgh for sure. If they don't score 20 or more, that will be an issue.
Yeah.
That would be a big issue. Ron, who's your upset special?
Yeah. So Kansas City at the Giants. Kansas City favored by 5.5. Over under a 45.4. I am going with the Giants to win 24-23. I think Kansas City, they're done. I don't want to say stick a fork in them because it's Mahomes, but they're done. They just don't have enough weapons offensively to be able to like compete with a lot of teams that can score. And then defensively, I think they're asking so much from like some of their guys like Chris Jones. Giants just scored a heck of a lot of points. They're playing at home. They got like some weapons. Russell Wilson's actually playing fairly decent. I know he lost the game for them too, despite throwing for 400 plus yards. But give me the Giants to win this one 24-23.
Yeah, I know that KC, this is like their third loss just recently against the Eagles. But the things that they do well is that they hold the ball for a long time. They have long drives. The thing that don't do well is that they can't score. They just don't have the personnel. They just don't do it. I don't know if they're gonna allow 40 points, 30 points again like the Giants and the Dallas did, but I think Kansas City will figure out a way to slow down Russell Wilson. I think the defense is still okay. It's just that in offense they don't have any weapons. Mm-hmm. Not until Rice comes back, and I think they lost Worthy for the year because I think he has surgery that's due. So give me Kansas City on this game. My upset special: Denver at LA Chargers. The Chargers are favored by 2.5. 46.5 is the point spread. I went with the Chargers winning this one, even though I messed up already because they are the favorites. The Chargers are the favorites, so I'm gonna change mine. I'm just gonna go with let's see who I'm gonna go with. Because now I'm like, they're the favorites, so they're it's not really an upset special. You know what? Let me go with the Raiders beating Washington.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be my upset special. Mm-hmm. Raiders beating Washington. We talked about it already. I think what is the status of Daniel Jones?
For the Colts?
I mean, for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, it is up in the air day to day at this point.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Raiders. Give me the Raiders. That's my upset special. Yeah.
Okay.
And the final score, let me just say what I predict to be the final score. 44.5 is the point spread. I think it's going to be low. Give me 20-17, which is the same score that I had for the Pittsburgh New England, but give me 20-17. I think that's going to be Jaden Daniels. If he makes a miraculous comeback for this game, I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
Ron, what do you want to...
There's a report out there. It says the Commanders would play it cautious with Jaden Daniels this week. But what does that mean? Is that meaning they're holding him out? Does that mean he's just not going to practice?
Yeah, that's very vague. Very vague. And I think that they do that on purpose, right? Because they don't want the Raiders to now we have to practice in case he's there, in case he's not. Who is the backup? Is it Hanky?
That's a good question. I have no idea. Let me see if we can find out.
I don't think it's Hanky. I think they got rid of him, right?
let's see. Marcus Mariota.
Okay. So he's a running quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's up there in age, right?
Yeah. He's still slinging it though.
Yeah, he still got it. I think he still got it. Week number 3, we're flying to Boston to see this game. Ron, how are you feeling?
I am excited to go. I am fighting cold. My son was sick, so trying to be healthy before we get there. So not trying to spread any germs. Trying to enjoy the game. So I'm excited though, for sure. I think it's gonna be a good game, good time in Massachusetts. The weather looked good, no rain projected. So I'm ready to go for the most part. Still gotta obviously pack and stuff. Got a couple days here before we fly out, but it's gonna be fun for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be it's always a good time to go back. I will say this, Ron. Are you wearing Steelers gear?
Oh, at the game or
just overall?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
So you're
Why
not
wouldn't I
gonna go
not?
incognito at all. You're just gonna be like, let the black and yellow out.
When you see me at the game, I will have my terrible towel. I will have a Steelers jersey. I will have my Steelers hat. As much gear as I can carry. I will be all out Steelers at tailgate and everything. It doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, I mean, Steelers fans, they travel well, so it's not like you're gonna be by yourself.
Right.
I'm just warning you. New England overall, it's not the nicest place. It's not cordial. When last time I went to Pittsburgh, everyone was nice to me, even though I had Patriots gear. I cannot guarantee the same for you. I cannot. So,
well, listen, I used to live in New England, right? From there, I know exactly how the fans are.
Yeah, but that's one thing to be there and be cheering for the home team. It's another one to be there and be an enemy. And this is not Vermont. This is Massachusetts. So be ready. So this is episode 129. We'll have episode 130 next week, but we'll do some quick shows before the game and after the game, just to kind of share in our celebration, whether it's Ron, whether it's me celebrating. I highly doubt that, but you never know. You never know. That's why they play the games.
Exactly.
So until we meet again, I say peace.
Peace.
All right, that's it, guys. That's the end of the show. Thanks so much for all your support and listening today. If you got any questions, comments, feedback, feel free to email us at simsportsmedia@gmail.com. That's SYMSPORTSMEDIA@gmail.com. Peace.